If I could segue, we talked about a lot of great methodologies or sorry, modalities that you utilize, which is just a fancy word for those of us that aren't therapists. It's just a different type of tool,
Hmm.
metaphorically speaking. One's a socket wrench, one's a drill or something like that. They're used for different things. One of the other methodologies that or modalities that you're trained in is the Gottman method, which is specifically utilized for a lot of couples therapy. I'd love for you to maybe explain a little bit of what Gottman method is and how that is utilized in couples therapy to support the health of that couple.
Sure. Yeah, John and Julie Gottman, man, have some phenomenal resources. Very, very helpful
Mm.
tools for basically for like relationship building. They do a lot of work for couples specifically, but any relationship. And I think at the end of the day, it basically always comes down to communication in relationships and troubles in communication. That's the biggest part of it. And so the Gottmans, they have a whole method that can be quite involved for couples if you do the whole thing. But you can use elements of their approaches at any time. But basically, what they're trying to do is they talk about something called a sound relationship house, and you're just trying to build a solid relationship where the two of you can live in harmony,
Mm.
and more than harmony, like enjoyment, right? That it's like mutually meaningful to you. And so there's talk about like helping each other understand and move towards your dreams and
Mm.
do meaningful things together and obviously find like love and support together. And then they, obviously they acknowledge that there's a lot of common threats there. And so they talk about what's called they call them the four horsemen of the relationship apocalypse, and how they threaten relationships and bring them down. And then different kind of they have antidotes to each of those things. So I've worked with couples lots and lots with the Gottman method to try and get out of very common pitfalls like an accused defense cycle that couples fall into all the time, where it's as natural as
What, what
anything, but it never leads
what would
to a
be an
good
example?
place. And
Yeah, what would be an example of an accused defense scenario that a typical couple would get caught in?
oh, I mean, it can be something as simple as like, really, that's how you load the dishwasher, It's like, and then the person just feels accused, like there's something deficient in them, like they don't know how to load a dishwasher, they defend themselves. It's like, well, it doesn't matter how I do it, right? Like I did it fine. And they're like defending themselves and often like accusing the other person of something, as opposed to like trying to maybe get a little bit curious and try and understand, like, well, why is it important for you that I do it this way? That seeks to build a little bit of understanding. And the Gottmans have helpful stuff. Like they talk about solvable and perpetual problems in a relationship and different ways to approach those so that, you're rather than just always fighting about something that's probably never going to resolve, you take approach of trying to understand your partner in a deeper, newer way. I find their tools pretty helpful. And a lot of couples have too that I've worked with.